Name's Ash Noureldin. I've owned Mathnasium for about 5 years. Prior to buying Mathnasium in 2019, I used to be the executive director for Big Brothers Big Sisters in Regina, an area. I've always really been passionate about kids and moving the needle forward on issues that pertain to kids. Growing up is pretty hard. And so, yeah, I've just kind of always been a fan of figuring out how can we kind of establish paths of least resistance when it comes to growing up and child development. And when I discovered Mathnasium, I kind of felt that it was a very good fit in that, kids generally speaking are kind of struggling in education and particularly in math. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with the value proposition that Mathnasium had to offer. So yeah, when I learned about it, I just kind of jumped in with 2 feet and haven't looked back since. Mathnasium is a learning center. What sets us apart from any other learning center is that we're more specific to the needs of individual students. And that's kind of what sets us apart from most centers, even the school system. Like we often say, kids are unique, kids are different, not one child's the same. And then we kind of take 30 of them and shove them into one classroom with one teacher, with one textbook teaching one way. And then we scratch our heads wondering, why aren't we getting one outcome? And the answer is because, yeah, kids are different. And so at Mathnasium, what we do is we respect that, we identify that, we assess every child on an individual basis, and then we develop something that is designed specifically for them to meet them exactly where they're at, instead of what's happening in other places where kids are generally met where they're supposed to be at. I don't care what grade a kid's in. I care what do they know in math and what do they not yet know, and then meet them there. So Mathnasium was developed decades ago. We're a franchise out of Los Angeles. It was developed by a genius, a math genius who had, vast experience in the space of not just math, but academia and teaching and outcomes, most importantly. And it's a process that, it's a very comprehensive process that, outlines math-sequential methods, how to teach, how to not teach, the signs, how to understand, how to measure, ensuring that you are mastering something before you move on to the next topic. And yeah, over the last, we're now all over the globe. Mathnasium is growing at a very rapid pace across the planet right now. We have a pretty diverse team. We have some retired teachers on payroll who are just really passionate about kids and math and kind of moving the needle for them. And we also have kids who are in university doing their masters in math, for example, and everything kind of in between. Obviously you have to be good at math to work here, but I'd say the big value proposition is that the staff that work here and the team that work here are really good with kids. Because again, kids are very different, and sometimes, I could be sitting with a student and maybe I'm not gelling with that student, or that student's not gelling with me. It's really cool to have, an arsenal of different types of personalities that can just parachute in and work with a student one-on-one. Generally speaking, the students that use our service are of all walks of life. In fact, the sign on the door says grades 2 to 12, but we ended up getting calls from young adults who are in post-secondary university or tech school. I even had an individual who was in his early 30s reach out and say, hey, I'm trying to get my ticket, my journeyman's means a difference of $15 or $20 an hour. So it's something that I kind of need and want to do. But I don't know how I even got through high school math and how I graduated, to be honest. And I assessed him, and he came out at a grade 6 level. And again, we had to be honest with him, and I told him the hard truth. I just couldn't find anything wrong with you, but what I found is something wrong with how you were taught. But other than that, I think you kind of got stroke of genius in you. And I told him it's going to be a little bit of a slugfest, but you're going to own it, And he enrolled himself, and I think within 1.5 years, he was done here. He went for the test and got it, and called me like the day after and told me, everything that had transpired, and that just couldn't believe it. There was a mountain in front of him, and all of a sudden he's standing at the summit. So, we hear that a lot, and we see that a lot. The youngest age is, somewhere around grade 1, grade 2. Depends. There are some kids in grade 3 who wouldn't necessarily be a good fit. At the end of the day, we do need literacy. Like, they do need to be able to read to a degree. I mean, we are working one-on-one with kids. So if there's a word, etc., that they don't understand, then we're right there to teach them. But basic numeracy skills are essential, obviously, because you're writing and kind of processing numbers and words. And the other one is focus. Like if you're, my kid, when she was in kindergarten, I don't think I could have her sit down for more than 30 minutes straight, nor I don't think that was a fair expectation. I don't think that would have been fair to most kids in kindergarten. So, but that's basically the main criteria when it comes to age. First, we have to identify, where is this kid actually at? Parents will say, I'll show you the report card, I'll bring you to the thing. And my answer is, generally speaking, I don't care what the report card says. I don't care what grade they are in. I don't care how old they are. I only care what they know and what they don't know. And the only way to really answer that and find that out is by assessing every child before they start. And that assessment will tell me, and will tell the parents, with laser precision, every single subtopic in math that this child is incredibly good at, and every single subtopic in math that they're not good at. But more importantly, it'll also tell me a lot about who they are. How do they think? How are they wired? How do their brains work? And then with all that information that we obtain from this assessment, I can then take that data and build them a custom textbook, basically, that is designed to meet them exactly where they're at. Like, I think we have roughly 30 grade 4 students right now. These students in the classroom during the day all have the same math textbook. The cookie cutter, one size fits all. Yet those very same students with us have completely different textbooks. Why is that? Well, it's because they're completely different kids, but they also learn in different ways. We've been in Regina since our grand opening was scheduled for the date the world stopped turning in March of 2020. We definitely did establish a gigantic need. It was a kind of an eye-opener in education. I think parents got to see firsthand at home kind of how their kids were doing, not just from a measurement status, but also in a practical way of like what was going on, how they're being taught, etc. We are a math learning center, and our value is in ensuring that every single kid that comes through our doors is met where they're at, not where they're supposed to be at. I don't care where they're supposed to be at, I care where they're actually at, because when you meet a kid in math where they're at, sky's the limit.